Hello and welcome to the Critical Twits. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Pathfinder Adventure Path hardback book, Curse of the Crimson Throne. Ooh. Cue spooky noises. Hello, welcome back. I'm Brian Ennis.
I'm Aaron Vinsky.
And we are half of the Critical Twits. Today we're going to be having I wanted to call this an unboxing, but it's a book.
Yeah.
It
was in a box at some point.
It was in a. I should have put it back in a box.
Yeah.
I've just recycled the box because
Like
save the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, can't see it outside.
Curse your caring for the populace of the planet.
I just worried that the government will turn up and take away my baby.
Your book.
Yes. Pretty. So we've played quite a lot of Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I've played loads of Pathfinder.
Yeah, and I've played a few campaigns now.
Yeah, you've played. You actually joined us partway through the last big hardback campaign that they did.
Yes.
Which I played for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was called Rise of the Rune Lords.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we played that.
Yeah.
Which was the Pathfinder Adventure Paths they're sort of released monthly. And they are 6-part campaigns.
Yeah.
So you'd get over sort of 6 months. They might even be bi-monthly now, I'm not 100% sure. But they released them in sort of paperback versions for sort of 10, 15 quid each over a series of time. Then for Rise of the Rune Lords, to celebrate some important anniversary or something, they did a big hardback, and now we've got the second hardback. So a few years later, which is the second adventure path, Curse of the Crimson Throne. It's been updated to fit Pathfinder as it is now, because I think when it first started it was very new. It may even have been in the old edition, because Paizo, who do Pathfinder, they used to do the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So it was originally Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 that became Pathfinder.
Right, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. The timelines are a long time ago, wibbly wobbly. But this is a modern updating, so lots of things have changed, apparently. I never played this one. No. I've only played the ones that come out in a big book.
Yeah.
Because that appeals to me. I like to know where the whole thing is going.
It makes it easier from a games master perspective.
From a games mastering perspective, definitely. Yeah. And I don't know why we've not really gone into it for the paperback ones, but we never really have.
No. So we take a bit more time over ours, I think, sometimes. I think they expect those to be finished within that month or 2 month period. We'd probably do it in 6.
Yeah, well, Rise of the Rune Lords took us 2 years.
Yeah.
Which was a long time. We did have a little bit of a break at various points between some of the arcs and stuff, but mostly it was our main roleplay game for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was great fun, and I loved playing a character for that amount of time. But yeah, I think maybe we're a bit slower. We're going to sort of have a look. We're not going to spoil anything for you, but we'll give you an idea of what's in the book and how it works. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, this is a review copy that was sent to us by Paizo, so I haven't had to buy it. Just so you know. But as ever, if something is crap, we will tell you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll come around our house and hit us, beat us, stab us with pitchforks.
With the big books that you've bought.
It's a monster! It's a monster! That's what people will do. Yeah, and you'd be equipped with one of these, and you could. I mean, Aaron, have a heft. Jesus. It's quite hefty.
I did feel like I needed some form of deity to help me pick that up.
Yeah.
I could wait with that.
So, sturdy hardback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that barely noticed that.
Yeah.
It is a mighty 478 pages long.
Wow. Okay.
And if we flick through, we can see each page is glossy, high quality paper, full colour throughout.
With some lovely art from the looks of things.
Yes. Very nice, high quality product. Now this retails in the United Kingdom for £65 British, which is cheaper than buying all the Adventure Pass separately.
Yeah.
But it's quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you're talking about something that is 50, 60 sessions,
yeah,
between you and your friends. A lot of groups will buy these sorts of things together as well. You're looking at £1 a session for an evening's entertainment.
That's a bargain.
At most. And I've also did a little bit of research, because I'm like that. I'm good like that.
Oh, well done.
It's currently available from several retailers for around about £30 to £35.
That is a bargain.
Which is, much easier thing to do and to pay out for. So yeah, that's much better. So what is Curse of the Crimson Throne then? Be interesting, because you don't really know anything about this.
No, I don't.
I've kind of kept it secret from you. Mm-hmm. So see what you think from the description. The kings and queens of Korvosa have long ruled under the shadow of the Curse of the Crimson Throne, an infamous superstition claiming that no monarch of the city of Korvosa shall ever die of old age or produce an heir. Whether or not there is any truth to the legend of the curse, Korvosa's current king is but the latest victim to succumb to this foul legacy. Now the metropolis teeters on the edge of anarchy, and it falls to a band of new heroes to save Korvosa from the greatest threat it has ever known.
Okay.
So, an urban campaign. I really like urban campaigns within a city. The typical D&D thing is quite nomadic.
Yeah.
You move from dungeon to dungeon, village to village. You're travelling. You don't get to put down roots or make lasting connections quite often.
Yeah.
So I quite like an urban campaign, because if you've got a big enough city, there's enough adventure there for, levels and levels and levels.
Yeah.
So a long time, but you can also keep returning to the crazy old librarian who always knows a scroll at the back of his library, but you might have to fight a magic monster that's guarding it, or it might be cursed or something. And you can come back to that character and you can see them develop, and you might start an organisation.
Yeah,
you might get involved with organisations. You might court a lovely young bride or young husband. You can develop the character relationships quite a lot there. So I like that. Even Rise of the Rune Lord, that had you travelling all over the world, had a central town that you returned to over and over again to give you that kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite a nice start. We've got 6 chapters, so we've got 6 adventure chunks, if you like, but might have multiple bits within them.
I presume, like Rises of the Rune Lords, those chunks can be very different to each other.
I'm hoping so. I've not looked in too much detail, but I will have a quick look.
Cool.
As we go through. We've got 9 original monsters, new illustrations for this version, new characters, maps, encounter locations, appendix, 12 NPCs, new rules options for characters. Ranging from campaign traits to spells to magic items, a lot of background, and it takes you from 1st level to 17th level. So you will start off being basically a peasant with a stick. And you'll end up being one of the most powerful movers or shakers in the city, which is good. I like that development. I really like this picture at the front. The armour on the guards I really like. I've seen various model versions of these and stuff, and they look really, really, really nice. And she looks a little bit sinister. She looks a bit naughty. That sounded sexy. That's not meant to be sexy. Well, it wasn't sexy, but it was like an idiot trying to be sexy. So we've got. Let's pop this here so people can see.
A nice little index.
So we've got a sort of contents page. Nice. I like Pathfinder does this a lot now. We've got the big double spread illustrations. Which I really enjoy. Now it starts off with an introduction. We've got a little guide on how to use it, roughly what's going to happen. One of the things they introduce for characters is traits. So you might have the trait that you have a missing child, or you were framed for something you didn't do, or you're a drug addict. And these are tied in to the campaign. The DM will have little pop-outs that will say, if you have a drug-addicted character, this can happen, that can happen, etc., etc. And you can earn 400 extra XP for each player based on the traits that they choose.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's a way of... We talk a lot when we talked about running a world and running a game, of tying the players into the world, and you can lose that with this kind of game.
Yeah.
This kind of, let's have a big campaign out of a book. So it's a way of trying to tie the characters in from the beginning, which is quite nice.
You feel like an established entity within the universe rather than magically turned up and start poking things with your stick of peasantry.
Yeah. And the traits have a mechanical bonus. So we've got, you have a missing child. Your missing son or daughter has made you stubborn. The hours you've spent looking for them, interrogating people, tracking down clues has made you stubborn. +1 bonus on will saves. You have a missing sibling. Your constant search for your missing sibling has developed into great skill at rumour mongering and finding out information. +1 on sense motive checks, and sense motive becomes a class skill because you're always trying to find out the truth. So you've got little bits that will make your character slightly unique for this game.
That's nice, actually.
Yes.
It helps shape it in a way that fits with the campaign, but allows you to have your own personalised bit to it. I like that.
Now, one of the things I mentioned at the beginning is that it does have monsters and such like extra rules and things from not just the core rulebook and the bestiary, but also from elsewhere. However, they're all online for free, and there is a link there so you can find those. You don't need to buy 15 million books to support this.
That's
a Pathfinder rulebook and a bestiary, and this is enough to get you going.
Fantastic.
We've got these ones, just as a slight aside, we've got the tiny ones. They're so wee, so small. Hello, Papa. Which
still feel very hefty, though.
We can see from size comparison.
Yeah. Although thickness-wise for that one.
That one is actually bigger. It's got more pages, but is smaller.
Yeah.
These are quite nice as well. Again,
this is nice and easy to pass around the table. Full
colour. Yeah, nice sort of table copies, sort of for reference. I find them maybe quite hard to read solidly if you're trying to read up, but they're
for reference copies they're wonderful.
So Pathfinder's getting more and more accessible. You don't have to spend £35 on a cool rulebook now. You can spend £20 and get the smaller version. So just as an aside. So we've got those campaign traits. We've got we then go into the thing itself. Now, one of the things I do like about this, and this is nerdy as hell, is that this bit here down the side, this little area here, when you're in the first adventure, you get a little red 1. When you're in the second adventure, you get a little red 2, 4, 5. There are 3s, I promise. 6, etc. And then A for appendixes. Appendices. It's better. You need to make sure that the appendix doesn't go rotten, or it can burst and kill the campaign.
Yes.
We've got all sorts of stuff at the back, which is continuing the campaign. If you wanted to carry on, I'd probably stop because Pathfinder does get a bit clunky at 17th level. Going even higher is even trickier. We've got sort of history of the region. We've got various different versions of the city as a DM. Slightly spoilery, but as a DM, how the city changes based on the events that have happened. So if the city is overrun, you find it hard to buy and sell goods because there's no infrastructure. We've got a nice map of Corvosa there. That's really nice. Quite have liked to pull out a big version of that. That would have been quite good. But kind of everything in life. A bit of explanation of all the different bits. Rumour table divided by different chapters as things develop, which is quite good. We've got lots and lots of things. Nice pictures of the NPCs as well, so you can point and say this is the chap you're talking to. There is a set of pawns that you can buy for this as well, the little cardboard tokens that you can use if you definitely are going for this. Although they're quite nice to use at any point really for campaigns. We used the Rise of the Runelord ones and the basic NPC one, I think, as well.
They really did help with some of the...
It was nice to have my halfling cleric not represented by a plastic mechanical dog.
Yeah.
It was better. We've got harrowing, so like the tarot. Got a bit of stuff about that. So some nice background, quite hefty background. We're talking like 50 odd pages of extra background.
And not small text, big text either.
Yeah, monsters, etc., all with very good, I think, quality artwork, etc.
Yeah.
Aaron, music to a DM's eyes.
Ooh.
Music to my eyes.
Encounter charts.
With
references to the pages for everything as well. That's lovely.
Which then tells you where all the things are, and tells you your challenge rating on average for each bit as well, for the different areas, etc. So that's quite nice.
Yeah,
I quite like that. Although they do seem to be expecting you to roll 127 on a D100. Yes. The danger rating will increase as the campaign progresses. So, as the campaign progresses and presumably the city becomes more dangerous and your characters get more powerful, you'll start being not able to get the lower level challenge ratings, but you'll get the higher level.
That's actually a simple, clever way of doing that.
So it makes the table useful all the way through the campaign. Yeah. Very clever. I haven't read this in depth because there's 500 pages of it, and I'm a busy man with many important things to do.
Ooh, la-di-da.
But again, look away from this going into too much detail.
Yeah.
There are each chapter starts with a bit of background. And a little bit of information on what level your PC should be at each stage of the campaign. So in this, the first one will take you from level 1 to level 4. It's quite clear that they should be this level roughly before they go. You can tailor that. If you've got 6 players, you'd be lower level than if you had 4 players.
Yeah.
Or you just make your encounters bigger.
Yeah.
You've got good maps throughout.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
All done in squares, so easy to use. If you like, we've got wonderful. I like that. That's a lovely picture. That's a creepy ass looking halfling. Gnome. He's a gnome. Not a halfling.
Would stab you for calling him that. Yeah.
We've got pictures of some of the items that you see, and they're divided into different sections. So again, this tracker on the side, this says part 1. Let me bring this close. So this is Adventure Arc 1, but then down here you've got a lighter bit here that says we're in part 2, A City Gone Mad. Not part 1, Haunted Fortunes. So really easy just to find your way around the book.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than going, you walk through the door and I've turned the page, I don't know what's happening. Talk amongst yourselves. It's nice to... I like the way it's been organised. And put together. It seems quite nice. You've got the way they've done it. Again, just don't read it if you're not interested in spoilers. But you've got black text for the DM and then red text to be read aloud.
Nice.
If you so desire. I mean, you then riff from there as a DM.
Yeah.
But it gives you
what you need for them to do things. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's nice and it's clear as you go through. I can see quite clearly exactly where you're showing them stuff to where you need to keep things. Yeah.
So you were talking about variety.
Yep.
We've got a fishery, a dock area, and a chase through the slums.
Yeah.
In the first part, this one looks like we have got. This looks slightly more political. We've got a bit of that going on.
Yeah.
We've got is that a sunken boat?
Looks like, yeah,
a sunken boat or a damaged boat. Yep. And some monsters, some aquatic monsters therein. We've got a bit of sewers going on, so we've got a little bit of variety so far. Try not to spoil it, but just to give you a taste of what maybe to expect. Pretty picture. And we've got a palace. There you go. And there appears to be some sort of wilderness-looking areas as well. Maybe, there we go.
Yeah.
So we're going outside of the city as well, to the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
So traditional, ruins and dungeons and a bit of wilderness questing.
Yeah.
So it's not. Looks to me like there's going to be quite a nice variety in there. I can't comment completely because I haven't played through the whole, without reading through the whole thing. But it looks to be that it's not just going to be the same thing every time.
Yeah, you can a bit of talking, a bit of politics, bit of
this, bit of that, bit of the other. Yeah.
I think that's important when you've got a big campaign like that, because if you get stuck doing the same thing each time over and over again, it gets a bit dull. I mean, Warhammer Quest was fun, but you were doing the same thing every single time, no matter how good you got somebody to create a story around the setting.
I think 10 years into Pathfinder, one of the strengths it's got now is that it is a very combat heavy system. Mm-hmm. If you're a light story role player, it's maybe not the thing for you, but we've found we've been able to tell great stories in it and still satisfy the more sort of mechanical crunchy urges that a lot of our players have as well. It's been a nice meeting ground, but there's 10 years worth of stuff now. So there is a large variety of different monsters and different encounter types and different classes and abilities and things that you can not only have as players but also use as a DM to spice the world up. And it's something that maybe people need as well. If you've been playing a lot of Pathfinder, you would get bored of just, and it's a dungeon and there's a goblin. I fought a kobold again for the 50th time. So the fact that it looks to be sort of varying what it's doing, I mean, one of the things we say to new DMs is vary your game. Have a bit of this, a bit of that. You'll find what your players prefer, but then you mix it up a little bit, or if they really like combat, then you need to have a variety of different types of combat and different feel of combat in various locations with different monsters, with some really long combats against lots of small enemies, or big combats with short combats with really powerful things that really do or die. So you've got quite it looks to be quite varied. It looks to be laid out fairly simply. An encounter level for each encounter as well, and challenge ratings, etc, etc. So you could calculate your XP, or you could just level the characters up when they hit the points that are mentioned in the path, which is what our Rise of the Rune Lords DM did, rather than doing all the maths. And that was perfectly fine for us. We were quite happy with that.
And it makes sense with these sort of ones as well, because you're doing things at a level they're expecting you to do them, so you're not finding it too easy and having to tweak things excessively.
That is one of the things again with Pathfinder, is it is numbers heavy. If you have level 6 adventurers fighting a challenge rating 15 creature, they're probably going to die. You can do it, and they may have gone on a quest to find a sword that kills a thing, and that would be great, but having that guide there to say, look, this is where your player should be, is great. You don't get lost.
Just takes a little bit of that pressure off.
I'd feel confident running this as a DM.
Actually, having looked through over your shoulder at things, I'm looking at going, I could brave that. Because it's...
Run me a game, Aaron!
God.
You're regretting it now.
A little bit.
You don't need to read the whole thing, bearing in mind that it was released in monthly chunks. You could read the background, the introduction, get your character set up, and then just read each path as you come to it. Maybe before the session, I think they're going to do part 2 of path 1 or of section 1, and refresh yourself on that, and that becomes your prep time, rather than your prep time being I need to make this and this and draw a map and that kind of thing. It's just refreshing your memory,
because it's laid out so well. It doesn't seem particularly daunting. It's like if you guys decide to go off on a slight tangent and look at something else, like, okay, I'll skip forward 4 pages. There we go, do that.
Actually, it does say, one of the things I remember reading through it is when it's talking to the DM, is that a lot of the bits, especially the urban bits, are done as a sandbox. So they might jump from, it's not go left, here is the room, then the next room, then the next room. It's, here are the 5 encounters that they may have depending on where they go. So if they want to follow up the odd coin that was found on the murdered body, they go here. If they want to follow up the fact that the weapon appeared to be a flaming sword, they could go to the guy who sells flaming swords. I don't know, I'm stretching this a bit too far because I'm making it up, but you've got different points you can go to. And I like that sandbox approach.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Because
it's nice to have a really big dungeon every now and then.
Yeah.
But being able to go, I think this, I'm going to investigate. Again, that's allowing the player's agency within the game.
Yeah.
So as a player, I like that because I like to make my own decisions. I don't like to be railroaded.
Yes.
And as a DM, I like to be surprised by my players.
Yeah. And that could be the make or break thing with some of these ones, is when they railroad, because that's where the story's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they've done that, and looking through it, it looks like they've given you those options, allows them to feel like they're creating the story as much as it's been crafted.
Yeah. So I'm quite excited by that. I'd quite like to have a go. It looks interesting. It looks quite dark in places, actually, from catching some of the bits that are going on as you read through.
Yeah.
And some of the themes that seem to be coming out. It seems like it could be quite an interesting campaign.
Yes.
So if you have played this in its original incarnation, please let us know below. If you have started playing this and you've got anything to say, please again let us know below, because I think we will give this a try and maybe report back in podcast form with our players at some point fairly soon, to let people know. And we'll if we have done that, we'll pop a link somewhere. Somewhere. But I'm quite interested. So please let us. I'm quite interesting. I'm quite interested. I'm not interesting at all. I can't even get a proper haircut. So yeah, thank you very much. If you like this, if you like what we're doing, please let us know. You can click the like thing, or tell us, because it's good. We need validation.
Yes, please.
Look at his sad face. And we do all sorts of things: tabletop RPGs, board games, a little bit of video game here and there. We're also massively into Netrunner. If anyone out there likes Netrunner,
yes.
We do that every month. So if you'd like to keep up to date with what we're doing, you can, of course, subscribe, and we will love you forever in a totally appropriate way.
Or inappropriate, depending on what you want. It's fine.
Yes. So thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah.
Until then, goodbye.
Bye.
Yours was way more normal than mine.
Yes. I felt I need to balance it out.
I'm not good at goodbyes, Aaron. Do you know you're not going home tonight, right? Actually, the chair's a bit crimson.
It is. Let's take a closer look.
It's cursed!
Ah!
Should have hit you in the face with it.
Yeah.
Never miss an opportunity for impromptu physical comedy.